So let's bring in former federal prosecutor and attorney Neama Rahmani.
Neama, good morning.
Hi, Vicky. How are you? Mike, great to be on.
So I think this is kind of a finger in the air moment, right? Like, checking, the political winds. Which way do you think this is going to go?
I think the judge is going to move forward with a resentencing hearing. I understand Hochman wants to delay it once again, but really that risk assessment that Gavin Newsom has ordered is something that's appropriate for parole. Do the brothers pose an unreasonable risk to the public? But the judge is going to consider slightly different factors at today's resentencing hearing.
The DA asking for that risk assessment and time for everybody to read it. Could that just be a tactic, though, because this is such a hot issue that maybe if he thinks the governor has to act on clemency before he gets to make any decision in terms of this hearing, then he doesn't have to deal with this. It's the governor's thing.
It is, Mike, and this is all political. It was when George Gascon initiated this last year during his contested reelection. And everyone's trying to pass the buck or the hot potato here, right? I mean, there are folks on both sides, people who think that the brothers should be released. They're victims of sex abuse. Others think that they were murderers who killed their parents for financial gain. And ultimately, Hochman is right. It is going to be Governor Newsom's decision. He can grant them clemency now, release them with a stroke of his pen. But even if they're eligible for parole, it's up to the governor to decide whether to accept or reject the parole board's recommendations. So I think Hochman is trying to pass this off to Newsom because he is the ultimate decision maker here.
Judges are supposed to be non-political. So specifically, what will the judge be looking at today?
The judge is going to look at a few factors. The first is the youth of the brothers at the time of the offense. They were young. They were 18 and 21. Their rehabilitation efforts in prison, and reportedly, they've been model inmates, at least recently. One big factor is that acceptance of responsibility. And we know that Hochman has been pounding that both inside and outside the courtroom, saying that the brothers have lied and they haven't accepted responsibility for the murders. And of course, those allegations of abuse, were the brothers abused? The stance of the victims. And one thing that makes this case unique is all the family members, except for one notable exception, they want Eric and Lyle released. And of course, the DA stance on this, which is opposing resentencing, notwithstanding Gascon, his predecessor, initiating this whole process.
One of the people waiting in line, talking to our reporter, Craig Figner, out there, the first thing she said was, I saw the movie. What are your thoughts on all this attention over the last couple of years? Because there's a line in one of the documentaries right at the end that kind of stuck out to me. And they said, if it wasn't for TikTok, we wouldn't be talking about these guys right now.
That's absolutely true, Mike. Look, it just shows the power of a Netflix series. And we're talking about monsters. But not just this case. There's so many different legal cases that have dramatically turned because of a docuseries. R. Kelly was brought to justice because of that case. Britney Spears was freed from her conservatorship because of the many documentaries. Bob Durst finally brought to justice here in LA because of a documentary. The Abercrombie and Finch CEO was charged because of a documentary. Look, it's all political, and every prosecutor in this country is elected or appointed by someone who is. So when there's overwhelming public support, like you have for Eric and Lyle Menendez, it does matter.
Former federal prosecutor and attorney Neama Rahmani, thanks so much.